Hello there. It is January 5th of 2025. It's kind of chilly right now. I do think it might snow at some point during the week or next week. I don't know when yet, for certain. Although I don't know if you can ever really know for certain with weather. But anyhow. So today's been an alright day. Didn't really feel like too great for most of it, but I mean, nothing bad really happened. Just had a lot of stuff going through my mind, and I was worried about this test I was going to take today. So I went to that class, I had it, and it turns out I did not have to stay there for the whole time, and I think I did pretty well. So I feel really good about that. Yeah, and I've already got a bunch of the other homework stuff done throughout the last couple days, so I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of stuff for the one class that I should probably read and whatnot. Look over, maybe take a few notes and all that, but nothing too crazy. So yay. Feels nice to be done with not entirely, but with school and work stuff and all that, to be at this evening part, late afternoon or evening part of Wednesday. Because it's kind of like, once I've gotten past this part of the week, then it's like, all right, Thursday and Friday tend to be a little bit nicer. I mean, I do think there'll be a convocation tomorrow, so I'm probably going to try to attend that. It is a shame that I really wish we could. So when they say like they have the 7 convocation credits we're supposed to get, I really would like it if it was per school year, but it's not. It's per semester. Although that does, probably not my biggest concern by any means. I'm not really worried about it right now. But if I do get accepted to the Australia program, what would be the equivalent of convocation credits? Or would I just not do those? I have no idea. Or probably more realistically, they might have some own version of that. I don't know. I'll probably I don't want to win, but at some point in the future, for the next few days, weeks, month or two, I have no idea how long. I'll probably just want to do more fun research on University of Sydney and the city itself and sorts of cultural things and whatnot. I've already watched a few videos so far. I mean, most of them have really just been entertainment stuff, not really helpful things per se, but it's pretty enjoyable. And I didn't really listen to that much yet, but I've also listened to a few songs. I listened to a good few songs, like Australian indie genre. It was pretty cool. I mean, it's not like indie genre is not like my main, one of my main ones, but I like it. It's nice. I would say I used to think for a very long time that the indie category meant independent, as in there's not really a universal theme for it. It's just kind of do whatever the fuck you want. Or it's the other or miscellaneous category of music, but apparently it's not. And so I've had to, I guess I have to, but I've sort of mentally adjusted my perspective for that, and whatnot. So yeah, we've had that. And I did actually get the Minecraft PvP video out that I had with my friend from yesterday, Yig. But yeah, well, that video's out. Check it out if you haven't already, if you're interested in my Minecraft content. Yeah, and then I think I want to take some time to edit this other Minecraft video. I mean, unless, well, I don't know. I'd like to, and I think I'll get to it sometime in the next couple of days here. But I don't know. I mean, I might. I was thinking I might actually want to do another Minecraft ranking video or two, or maybe I might get to play more PvP or something. I don't know. We'll see. But regardless, it'll be fun. Yeah. So I feel can't speak properly. I feel good about that. So yeah, not really too much else besides those things, but I think, I've had, I'm also glad to not have an insane amount of stuff on my plate right now. So that's very nice. I think I'd like to check the applications, the scholarships, and the two different websites I applied on for the Australia program, just to see if there's any progress on that front. I hope so. And hope, if it's in a more favorable direction, of course. But again, I don't know just yet. So anyhow, oh wow. I just walk in here and then there's this random different college. Wait, they have some kind of sports event? Yeah, I think that makes sense because they're heading on. Whoa, all the lights are going on in the Mac building here. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so yeah, they're having some. I don't really know type, but having some of the kids from Transy University, I think it is, coming here and playing a game. So, cool. I haven't really watched or participated in any of the sports events or anything. To be completely honest, this has not even really been on my mind at all. I don't even know how, but I don't know. I tend to I feel like I tend to sometimes, actually no, quite frequently, with a number of different subjects and whatnot. And I don't mean this in a bad way per se, but I kind of just forget that they exist. If I'm not interacting with it physically or mentally, or having some, something like that occur, I'm just not gonna, it's just not gonna process in my mind that, oh yeah, oh, this person does this job. If I'm not doing similar type of work, I'm probably gonna, I'll know it in the back of my mind, but I'll just be kind of forget it. Similar thing with how, if you ever had any if you have any family that's you very rarely see them, you kind of just forget that they exist most of the time. Yeah. So for example, for myself, I have two cousins on my dad's side of the family. You pretty much never see them. I've seen them I don't know, I want to say 5 or 6 times, maybe 7 or 8 in my whole life. Which, it kind of is a shame because I think I'm very interested in, what's happening with them and what have you not, but not too worried about them. But yeah, kind of just an example there. I was trying to think here. So, I don't know if this is necessarily a good question to ask right off, but and then I'll explain. Dang, what the fuck? My throat. It keeps getting. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh yeah. So, my question here is, what type of, if you've watched any of my Minecraft content so far, and I know it's kind of disparate. Like I've done speed runs, I've done PvP, I've done creative mode, I've done at least a few different things, right? And I know I have like a certain, I don't know if I necessarily would say that I have one just yet, but regardless, like, I don't know exactly what my style, quote unquote, is for like, either videos or, really more specifically with like my, my Minecraft character, if you will, right? And I'm just wondering, like, what type of music do you guys think would go really well with my Sir Nether character in Minecraft, right? Like, I don't, I mean, besides just the music that I use, in my videos, in those, because I like that stuff. But that's not really, what I listen to. That's just whatever songs that I, like, that I'm able to use for free on, the Microsoft Clipchamp app, which is the thing I use to edit the Minecraft videos, right? So I'm kind of limited to what there's on there. I mean, they have a pretty decent-sized library, admittedly, and I think it's pretty cool. I think they have some really nice songs, yes, and sound effects on there. But I don't know. It's just like trying to cross the street here, but cars keep on coming. I don't know why, because I don't know, maybe it's just more of a weekend thing where there's not as many. Whatever, it's fine. Doesn't really matter, we cross over here anyways. Still going back to the dorm anyhow. What was I saying? Yes, the whole music thing. So, I will say, I don't know. I'm not sure if I don't, and I'm trying to decide on how, like, I want to go about sharing my personal lore idea of, or story or background of my Sir Nether character. And I don't mean, well, it's kind of weird when I say this because, like, I don't want to mean, like, Sir Nether as in, well, okay. I'm not sure how to explain this. So, the Sir Nether character is both myself and not at the same time. Okay. It is because, well, I mean, that's what my YouTube name is. That's my, Minecraft name is. That's what my, my name on a whole bunch of other accounts and whatnot is, too. And that's kind of what I like to be sort of addressed as. But it's also not because it's like, at least unless I'm saying in the Minecraft context here, I mean, and I don't know, maybe other games, but for now, we're not getting into that. Just exclusively Minecraft so far, where I'm like, there's like a sort of a story, and that's obviously not my real life actual story. So I don't know. It is both me and not me. It's like, I don't know. This is like the cool fictional story idea I have for myself. If I was, I guess to say it's like the story or lore that I have for myself if I was like a Minecraft character, like, which I mean I am, but I'm not. Hopefully I'm making sense. If it didn't, I'm sorry. But yeah, anyways. But yeah, if you're enjoying this so far, and you want to see more stuff like this, feel free to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell. It really helps out a lot. I'm trying to reach 50 subscribers before Valentine's Day. I'm at 49. I had one person subscribe today. Thank you so much. Fantastic. We are so close. Just one person. If one person could subscribe, that would be awesome. So yes, anyways, really appreciate it. And thank you guys so much, everyone who's helped to contribute to that goal so far. It really means a lot to me. It's really nice to know that there's people out there who are willing to give me at least a little bit of their time. I mean, I know that all my videos are they're not just a few minutes long, but regardless of how much you're watching, it means a lot to me. I appreciate it. It's really nice to know that. And let's get back onto Minecraft character lore thing. So, the basic idea so far with my character, and I'll try to explain a few of the things of like why I decided that as I'm going along here. So my character here, Sir Nether, right? It's basically this thing of where this real person, and I assume someone much like myself, or just an alternate. Actually, you know what? We'll say alternate reality version of myself. I feel like that's more interesting. That's going to be more specific here. So yeah, an alternate reality version of myself, if you will, where they want to play Minecraft with their friends, and so they start getting into the game, right? And they're like, okay, so I'm going to play, I'm going to play here, and I'm going to play on this, world with my friends. But there's this really interesting thing that happens here that's not supposed to, and that is this character here, my alternate reality self, Minecraft character. It spawns in the nether dimension instead of spawning in the overworld. Now, this probably doesn't make any much sense to anyone who's not a Minecraft player, but let me explain sort of what these, let's say, dimensions are. So in Minecraft, there's like different like places that exist. Like different, they're not like different planets, because that's not true, but they're like different if you're familiar with like the ideas of like heaven or in hell or stuff like that. I mean, it's not religious in the game, but there is a little bit of similarity. That gives you any sort of idea. Different dimensions or realms or whatever the word is you want to use, right? Well, so the place that Minecraft players will spawn in every single time, in the way that the game actually works, is in this place called the overworld. Now, basically, just think of it like it's like Earth, right? You have forests and deserts and oceans, and you have all sorts of animals, from parrots to cats to dogs, the pigs, the horses, you name it. And then you have all sorts of classic monsters that you fight if you're not unpeaceful, that is. such as, creepers, spiders, endermen, silverfish, skeletons, if I didn't say that one already, zombies, whatever. There's like a whole bunch of them. Alright, and this is where you kind of spawn it. It's kind of, sort of like Earth. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know how much you'd say they're similar, but like, natural terrain, well, whatever. Just the thing of it is, it's like Earth, right? It's just where people live, right? Where you're born. If you will. And then the nether dimension, it's kind of like the underworld, sort of the game. And so, how you get to it, you make this portal. You go through, boom, you're transported into this different underworld-like dimension. Now, ever since the Nether update, or version 1.16, that occurred a few years ago, during 2020, believe it or not, funnily enough, one of the best Minecraft updates, arguably, at least in my opinion, comes out during, COVID. So, interesting fact for you all, if you didn't know that already. Right, so anyways, and there's this other dimension, but it's called the End. It's kind of like outer space, if you will. It's basically just like a whole bunch of asteroids and whatnot, and you fight like this dragon and a whole bunch of these endermen. So I can explain what those are later on, but don't worry about that right now. And, you find these floating cities that have like tons of loot and treasure that's like really high value. Anyway, don't worry about the end right now. It's not really too important for the story. Maybe later on, but it's not really particularly relevant in it. So here, the main sort of focus here is between the overworld and the nether, right? So the thing is that this alternate reality version of myself, they start playing Minecraft, let's say for the first time here, and they start getting into it. They spawn in this nether dimension, right? And they're like, this doesn't sound like in Minecraft that, like, my friends and everyone else was telling me about, right? And so this alternate reality version myself is new to the game, doesn't really know how to do anything, whatnot. There's also another twist, sort of thing too, is that in this all of the mobs in the game, mobs basically being like animals, monsters, etc. Like, the Minecraft itself, the social media is it's not just a game, it's like an actual reality. And some of these mobs, for example, like villagers, which are basically human like sort of creatures that exist in the world. You can trade with them. They're basically people. Or in the nether here, this thing is called piglins, which is a very interesting mob. It's kind of like if you had a pig that was like in a humanoid-ish shape, and it could walk upright, and it could talk and hold swords and crossbows and do stuff like that. Yeah, that's what these are essentially. And they really like gold. Fascinated with it. They have an obsession with it. That's how it actually is in the game. Not the talking part. They don't talk in the game. They just snort. Make pig sounds. But besides that, everything else is true. I said about them. So yes. Anyways, this character here, alternate reality, Sir Nether, they spawn in the nether. And they basically have to learn how to, survive it, and they're like kind of wondering like, okay, where are my friends at? And they don't actually know, he doesn't know that, they're actually in this entirely different dimension, whatnot. So anyways, Sir Nether here, he, and it feels weird to be referring to myself as a different person, but whatever, it's fine. Third person perspective. All right. So anyways, alternate reality myself, he actually sort of again, trying to find, figure out how to survive this hellish-like dimension and, make do. Eventually learns how to craft, make, some gear, make a house, all the good stuff, right? Harvest food, things. But a lot of this he kind of learns, in conjunction with his, or through his experience with these piglins. So in this story, the story here, there's like actually piglin tribes, right? And he basically has to learn to kind of like adapt to, kind of learn this one of these piglin, tribe cultures, and learning from them how to do stuff, make gear. And then he's like pretty I mean, like, you'd be pretty scared because, it's like, there's a lot of danger in the Nether dimension. Like, there's lots of fire and lava and, all sorts of angry monsters that want to kill you. But it's also very rewarding because you can also get a lot of, really high value treasure, such as tons of gold or some diamonds. You can get, really, really overpowered gear, such as, special pieces of armor or swords or, crossbows or types of food and what have you not. And, so anyways, this character here, right, learns all these things, has to learn with the tribe, and then they end up having to, so then they actually figure out finally how to go to the overworld. They make a portal, they go through, and they're like, oh, so this is where all my friends are spawning at. Right, so then they meet with some of those. They kind of feel, after spending so much time in the Nether with the piglins, they kind of feel a little bit disconnect, sort of. Kind of like a cultural thing, If you spend if enough time in one place and you go back to where you're from, so to say, then it feels strange. Like you don't belong there fully. Well, anyways, Sir Nether, he experiences that sort of feeling, right? But most of the players are friendly. Most, because in the story, and I haven't decided again yet. I have no idea with actual other player names, whatnot. I haven't really written a fully, organized. I haven't actually written down most of the stuff. I've kind of just had in my head for the last year or two, or however long it's been. Not really that long. This whole sort of lore idea thing that's existed in my mind. So anyways, yes, they actually end up getting betrayed by this small group of players, led by this, one or two guys here, and and then he kind of feels like, okay, that, trying to learn about, okay, how and why, Sir Nether spawned in the Nether dimension, as well as, why, what the motives of these other players are, and whatnot, kind of figuring out, as well as, like, one of the big things of these other players, that they're aware of the fact that the piglins in the Nether dimension, are intelligent and, feel, real emotions and whatnot, and have, similar level of, moral complexity and whatnot, humanity, if you will, of their own, and yet they basically enslave, treat these piglins and the other nether mobs, and they sort of enslave them. You kind of treat them as like they don't really have they just treat them as just mobs in the game, or like they're just code. They have no real feelings, and they basically they do all sorts of unethical things, right? And in which particular, at some point in the story, some of these players end up capturing and enslaving and whatnot, or even threatening the lives of some of these piglins in this tribe that Sir Nether comes close to, it comes to form a deep emotional bond with, and and then he has to kind of go back and into the Nether and be heroic and sort of defeat them. And one of the keys in that is that he learns how to craft, and use netherite gear, which in this story here, right, none of the players, like they never had netherite gear. Like they have heard of it, right? And they want to obtain this mystical ore that can give you an insane amount of durability and damage, and it's fire resistant and all sorts of crazy things that it can do, and whatnot. And yet, so Sir Nether is the first one to really use that, and he ends up it's sort of spoiler thing, but he ends up saving the Piglin tribe here, and showing off mastery survival skills and parkour, and doing really well in PvP and whatnot, all sorts of really tense battles and all that. And he just ends up saving the piglins, and also connecting with his friends that who live in the overworld, and he kind of learns to embrace the sort of identities of being both accepted member of the Piglin tribe, and living in the Nether, and then also having connections with and being part of the community of players in the overworld. And then eventually, as these sort of two communities kind of intermingle, and then happily ever after, and everyone celebrates, Sir Nether's victory and honor and all that good stuff. So that is the story that I have for my character. That's what I've had in my mind here. So hopefully that sounds pretty interesting, really fun. I think it'd be really cool if I do write a story about that one day. I've mentioned that before. I have different sort of story ideas. I've honestly no idea if I'll ever actually fully write those out or anything, publish anything on that front. But I do think it's somewhat more likely that I might actually do my Sir Nether story. Again, I have no idea if I do it in book form or whatnot. But the reason I asked about the music earlier, if you somehow managed to stick through for this part so much, I really appreciate it. I'm getting a little hot. Probably need to go in pretty soon. Getting a little exhausted. The reason I ask about the music is because I'm contemplating. Again, I have no idea how I would do it, or when, or any of those practical details or considerations. But I've considered the possibility of, and I think I'd really like the idea of doing having a Minecraft documentary, or like movie, if you will, with my character and exploring that story. And I guess the reason I thought of that sort of format is actually because, and it wouldn't be quite the same story by any means, it'd be my own version, or, my own whole entire creation. But if you've ever happened to watch Evbo, a super popular Minecraft YouTuber, he's made a number of Minecraft movies, or like long form content, where he's basically exploring, like he has this idea of that there's certain types of civilizations and he's stuck into them, and he's trying to learn how to survive and then get out of them, and then kind of figuring out why the world is the way that it is. It's super fun. I really liked watching those. It was really cool. A really great story. And I can imagine like how long it took to come up with the whole scripting and building the whole civilization, because those things are massive. It might have taken hours. I don't know. And then getting all the people to, play in that, and then everything, all the details. But it was so fun. And it wasn't anything that was crazy, too, because most of it is like real Minecraft, playthrough. Right? And yes, there are animated parts, but generally speaking, most of it is like just showing, like, from actual Minecraft player, interacting with other players in the game, in this map that was built. And that was just super cool. So anyways, I'm going to end it off here. And I really want to take this backpack off. This counting book is really heavy. And I'm starting to get a little tired here. I'm going to go back to my dorm and just chill out for the rest of the night. But anyways, hopefully you've enjoyed that. And I will see you in the next video. A good day, night, whatever it is for you when you're watching this video. Or just good time. See you in the next one.